What up, peeps? Tony Baker here, back with another movie review. This time I'm reviewing the Fantastic Four First Steps. All right. I'm glad they didn't give up on Fantastic Four. We know when they came out the gate with that first one a while back, it was all fluffy and rated PG, and it was just like, it was super corny in a cornier time, but it was big corny back then. And I was just like, eh. And then the sequel came out, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Oh, they got the Silver Surfer in there. I was excited. And the trailer showed Human Torch chasing Silver Surfer down. And I was like, oh, man, this is already better than the first one. And then it was just like, eh. And then they made Galactus a cloud. And I was like, oh, hell no. Hell no. Whoever made that decision was like, no, we're going to make him a cloud instead of just a big humanoid presence. Failure. And then there was that Fantastic Four movie directed by Josh Trank. That was just... At least those other two had personality, energy, corny, fumble delivery. But at least they had personality. That Fantastic Four with Miles Teller, dry. Oh, it was dry. It was dark, moody, dry, boring. It just brought nothing to the table. Nothing. It was just like talking to somebody. You just looking through them, just like, that's crazy. So y'all went up in space and you changed the whole molecular and and then you just started thinking about, I gotta do my laundry. I did the colors. I gotta throw the whites in there. The whites you gotta wash on hot. You gotta put the bleach in the little container. You gotta do that. Dang, I hate folding clothes. That's how boring that movie was. So now, here we go again. All right, now that Marvel has Disney and Marvel, they've acquired all the rights to all the characters. Let's give another crack at the Fantastic Four, because we all know the best Fantastic Four movie is actually The Incredibles. Now that we got the real Fantastic Four, we got a good cast. We got Pedro Pascal, who's in everything now, and he's Reed Richards. We got Jessica Kirby as Sue Richards. We got Ebon Moss-Bachrach, I don't know if I said that right, as Ben Grimm. He's from The Bear. Joseph Quinn is Johnny Storm. He's been killing it ever since he blew up from Stranger Things. They've been casting the shit out of him. So we got a good cast. We got a director. He's directed WandaVision and the episode of The Boys. So he's familiar with this kind of comic booky territory. And we had an interesting casting choice and an interesting choice for Silver Surfer. They made the Silver Surfer a woman by the name of Shala Ball, who made a brief appearance in comics, so it's not like they made her up just for the movie. But a lot of people were up in arms, like, no, man, give us the OG Silver Surfer. So they were just like, nah, we switching it up. I don't have a problem with it. It's just, she's still a surfer. She's still a herald bringing you that bad news. When you see a Silver Surfer roll up to your planet, just pack your shit. Just quit your job, go home. They're going to tell you like, hey, man, my boss is coming to just devour your whole planet. That's pretty much the plot of the movie. And this is a spoiler review. I don't know if y'all know that. This is a spoiler review. So if you want to see how many saxophones I give it out of 5, fast forward to the end, because I'm going to just talk about whatever. That's essentially the plot of this one. The movie, since we've already had 3 Fantastic Four movies, they couldn't write to it, just like Superman did. It was like, yo, this is what happened. They got powers. They already out here. They're already established. The world knows who they are. They got cartoons. They got merch. They got fans. We're here now. So we know the Fantastic Four. And so I like that they did that. We bypassing all that origin crap that we've already done. And here they are in all their glory. And the way that they shot it and the way they presented all of that information was great. I really like the choice that they made in that. The look of the film is super dope. It's like a retro, futuristic type of vibe. Like it looks like they're in the 60s, but at the same time, it feels futuristic, if that makes any sense at all. It's like watching the Jetsons. Like when you go back and watch the Jetsons, you can tell, oh, this is old, but at the same time, it was supposed to be the future. So that's the vibe that they give. And I like that aesthetic for this whole film. I feel like the cast works great. The interplay that they have with one another. They're not doing what Marvel has been doing and like, let's put the comedy on 10. Like now, they kind of like, all right, let's take our foot off the comedic gas. let's let the comedy just, kind of just flow naturally within the family dynamic. Because, with your family, some jokes going to come up. And so I feel like they left all that organic. Pedro is Reed Richards. He's a brain guy. And so he's one of the smartest people on the planet, right? So he don't really have time for the cool social butterfly aspect of his personality. If you got all this information and formulas and science and all this in your brain all day long, where you gonna have the personality like a person like me? I'm personality McGee. But if you pull out the math book, I'm like, oh man, this is a foreign language right here. This is just equations, numbers and letters together in an equation. I'm out. As soon as you merge a letter and a number, and then put the minus sign, you put the letters and the numbers again, line over that, and put something underneath, I'm out. Then you got the audacity to throw in some parentheses, I'm super out. Now you're just writing alien language on the chalkboard, and I'm thinking about laundry again. I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? I got to do that laundry when I get home. I did the colors last night, man. I got to do the whites. You know what I'm saying? I got to get them white socks clean, man. I got to get the bleach going. But this movie is essentially about, we've already established who they are. Now they have a global threat. The Silver Surfer has arrived and told us, she just pulled up and was like, hey, y'all, look. I don't know why she pulled up to that exact location. Like, they always just pull up, I'm a being from outer space, the universe. I'm going to go right to New York City. Every time. They coming from galaxies wide. Let me pull up in New York City and just speak English. Every time. There's always, we going to America. Every alien is like, America. Every time. Pull up the English. She could have went anywhere in the world. She's like, nah, man, English. She pulled up, hey, y'all. Get your shit together. Say what you always wanted to say. Do what you always want to do. Hold each other close. I'm a herald. Galactus is coming. He want to eat your planet. There's other planets in the solar system that he could eat. This one. I'll be like, why not Uranus? Uranus. My bad. How about that one? Nah, this. You could. Venus, there ain't nobody there. Venus is just hot. How about Venus? Nah, man. This. Mercury, it's kind of close to the sun. Ain't nobody really tripping on Mercury. It's little. Nah, this. All right, okay, all right. So, how about Mars? It's pretty, it's red. Take Mars. Leave Jupiter, though, because Jupiter saves us from a lot of, impacts. But, Mars. How about Pluto? Pluto, man, that's a nice snack. This. And so now they have to figure out a way to stop Galactus. And so they go out in space to they manage to trace where the Silver Surfer has been to be like, yo, these planets were once here. And we trace her whereabouts. And every time she shows up, that planet ends up gone. And so now we're going to go in space. And then we're going to try to holler at Galactus and see like, yo, man, we not going to let you do this. Now, mind you, they're going out here in space. Sue is pregnant. Got the baby on board. They got the baby coming. First steps. And so little Franklin is in there brewing, so they go out in space. They link up. They find them. The planet that they go to is already being devoured by Galactus. He and his ship. And Silver Surfer pops up. What y'all doing here? And he's like, yo, man, we came to see if we could not be killed and consumed. And she's like, hey, man, I don't know how y'all got here, but all right, I'm going to take you to him, man. I'm going to let you holler at him. So they go holler at Galactus, and Galactus is sitting there. And what I love about this, they made Galactus like he was in the comic books, a big celestial being with eyeballs and a big face and a big body, building tall. And he was just like, yeah, man, I'm going to eat y'all. So, you come here to beg, what you want, man? Oh, you got a bun in that oven. Let me get that bun. And she's like, no, absolutely not. I like buns. You know what I'm saying? You got a nice Texas Roadhouse baby in that stomach. I want in on it, man. That baby's special. That baby got some of the stuff I need. With that baby, I can now stop my relentless hunger, which I relate to Galactus. I'm always hungry. So if I ate planets, you don't want to see me. You don't want to see me. Because I'll be like, yo, I can go for a little snack. I start looking at your whole existence like, I'm hungry. And so he like, the baby for your planet. She's like, no. And then she started having contractions. So it's like, it's awkward for everybody. Now she about to deliver the baby right here in front of Galactus. They managed to escape. They managed to get out of there. She delivers the baby in space, zero gravity. Franklin is here. And so they like, yo, we weren't really willing to sacrifice our child to save the Earth. So when they get back to Earth, people are like, yo, man, we good? We good? And Fantastic Four was like, no, I mean, not really. I mean, you know, we hollered at him. We talked to him. We was like, yo. And then he was like, I'm going to eat y'all. I mean, but if you give me that baby, then I'll let y'all live. And the people like, why you bring the baby back? I mean, because that's our child. Like, you know, we couldn't just hand him over to this celestial being. You know, I don't know him. You know, it's my baby. Like, I don't know who. He could be abusive. Can you imagine getting a whooping by Galactus? His belt is huge. I don't know if he's going to beat the kids. So the people were upset. They were like, yo, man, sacrifice your child for us. So that begs the question, what would you do in that scenario? Like, are you giving up your child for the greater good of the whole planet? And a lot of people are like, oh, that's an easy choice, man. But at the same time, it's not. It's like, I'd rather fight, you know, to keep my baby. But then at the same time, you like, we all died for that one child. So you put your family above everybody else, the billions of other people. So it's a tough spot to be in. So that's where they find themselves. And so they're still trying to figure out, how can we defeat Galactus? How can we be spared? And he's on his way. And like, he moving and grooving. He on his way. They showing how, you know, the hurricane warnings. They're like, oh, Hurricane Nadine is coming through. She a level 4, man. She coming through the Bahamas, man. Florida, get your feet together. That's what it's like on a global scale with Galactus coming. Yo, y'all. He just passed Jupiter, y'all. He coming in hot. And so it's just like, so they figure out a way. Reed Richards is working on the teleportation device. So he's like, yo, if we can get these towers up and we can work together on a global scale, we can get the towers worldwide, and we can actually teleport our planet to a habitable zone somewhere else. And then it'll take him millions of years to find us again. And so the world is desperate, like, all right, that sounds good on paper. I'll be like, yo, that's a wild plan. You don't know where you're going to end up on the other side. That other sun might be like, nah, man, the way this sun is set up, we burst through your magnetic field. So we all fried as soon as we get there. I don't know. I just had other questions about that teleportation. But that's all they had, you know. And so they put that plan in motion. Everybody's coming together the world over. And it's like, all right, man, we're going to teleport, which is a wild plan. And then as soon as they're ready to teleport, Silver Surfer comes through, destroys all that. Meanwhile, Johnny Storm was trying to connect with Silver Surfer and like, yo, girl, like, where you from? You told me something in your native language. What does that mean? He's a linguistics guy. So she says something to him in her native language. He decodes it because he asks her, what does that mean? And so he decodes it. He does all this thing. And so he was able to find her native language. And so when she came back, he had a little system set up to where he can play her native language to her as she's trying to get him. And then she's like, yo, man, how you know my language? And then he was speaking to her in her native language. And he finds out that she sacrificed herself to save her own planet. And that's how she became the Silver Surfer. So now, to spare her planet, she's going to find other planets for Galactus to eat. And so within that, he was playing back like, yeah, this is your planet. You saved your shit. Let me play the other audio from the people whose planets you ate. And she's like, oh, man. She was like, she had a little internal crisis, and then she just flew off. Galactus shows up, and he's like, yo, man, where that baby? So they finally like, all right, we're going to use the baby as bait, and we can get him into the last teleportation pod, and we can teleport him. And so they use the baby as bait. Galactus shows up. He walking throughout the city. He looks down at the Statue of Liberty. That's how big he is. He's like, Statue of Liberty. You know, Statue of Liberty, we'd be like, but Galactus was like, man, look out, man. So he walking through, always New York City. They could have just went to a small town. They could have went to Syracuse, New York. They could have went to, you know what I'm saying, just a smaller city. They could have went to New Mexico, have him walk around. Nah, man, buildings to destroy. He walking through there, and I love seeing Galactus on the big screen. He gets there, and then chaos ensues, and then, you know what I'm saying, they pull it off. That's all I'm going to say. I gave you too much already. Here's what I like. I like the fact that Galactus is like he is in the comic books. I want a comic book movie to be like the comic books. Everybody's talking about, man, it's not realistic. Shut up. It's a comic book. It's not supposed to be realistic. If you want real shit, go watch documentaries and hush. These are movies. This is fantasy. This is escapism. Stop being a tight ass when you go see a comic book movie. Yes, he's a building tall individual. All right? So if you can't appreciate that, then what are you doing in the theater? All right? I like how this is a singular focused piece. Like, even though it's connected to other stuff, and there's 2 post-credit scenes. One kind of lets you know about something upcoming. The other one is complete waste of time. So if you watch that mid-credit scene, watch that, and then you can just leave. Because the other one is just a silly cartoon. But I like the fact that they kind of stayed true to the comedic roots, the Jack Kirbyism, the Stan Leeism in those early days. And like, the Mole Man is in this, and he's played by Paul Walter Hauser. Every time I see this man and stuff, I enjoy him every time. And I would have loved to see more Mole Man. He was my cowbell in this. You know, the cowbell sketch from Saturday Night Live with Christopher Walken. I need more cowbell, baby. I need more Mole Man. Because, like, when he came on the scene later on in the film, it was a good interplay between him and Reed and him and the rest of the Fantastic Four, where they were just, like, annoyed. And he was like, man, butter me up. Because he only likes Sue. Sue was the only person he rocks with. The rest of them dudes could kick rocks. Anyway, I thought the movie was well done. I had a good time. It was entertaining. It felt like a comic book movie. I feel like they finally got it right, and I would like to see more of the Fantastic Four. But forget all that, man. You want to know the smooth jazz review of the Fantastic Four. Well, here it is. Oh, yeah. I'm giving Fantastic Four First Steps a Fantastic Four saxophones. I didn't do that on purpose. It's a 4 saxophone movie, man. It's 4 saxophones, man. I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I was entertained. I like how it stayed true to the comic book roots. And one of my favorite comic book covers of all time, I want you to Google this. Fantastic Four number 243, where they're fighting Galactus. And it's like the Fantastic Four and Iron Man and Doctor Strange and Wasp, Thor and Captain America. I don't know what the hell Captain America is trying to do on his ankle with the shield. I'm just like, you just gonna hit his ankle boot? Bless your heart. But check that out. But it got me to thinking, like, would you sacrifice your baby to save the planet? I don't know, man. Because this planet is pretty ashy and raggedy. Especially now. Now? I don't even want to get political, but come on. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, peeps, that's my review of Fantastic Four First Steps. Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comment section below. Also, out of the 4 powers, invisibility with force fields, flame on, torch, you can fly, you're a rock, super strong, or elastic, you can stretch and do all those things. And when I say this, what power would you want to have? Now, mind you, if you're going to pick the thing, you can go from your human form to the rock form at will. So you don't have to stay rocky like Ben does. And another thing I want to say, I like the fact that Ben was comfortable with who he is, even because there's always a sadness attached to the thing because he's stuck in this rock-like form. And you get that little interplay between him and Reed, because Reed feels guilty because, you know, he feel like he's responsible for what happened to them. And I always kind of like that dynamic. They painted Ben as not like a sad sack or like a sad story. And I like the way Mr. Fantastic's powers looked in this movie, because it's kind of hard to pull off the stretchy, elongated. It could look super cheesy. And if I had to have one of their powers in the real world, invisibility, I feel like you being shady if you're gonna be invisible. Like, who you hiding from? Why you hiding? I mean, it can have its benefits if you're getting chased by killers, but how often does that happen? You know what I'm saying? But then if you got the Human Torch, you flying around, but you will burn everything up. I would definitely catch stuff on fire on accident, especially in Cali. As soon as I take flight, oh, we got another wildfire, y'all, and I don't want to be responsible. But he can also put out flames. I didn't know that until I saw this movie. So there's that. The Thing, I wouldn't do nothing with the Thing's powers. What I need to be super strong for. And as far as Mr. Fantastic's power, that could be fun in the bedroom. I could be whatever size you need, baby girl. that might be the one. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comment section below what powers you would choose. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as usual, we out here.